Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, people still misunderstand you? You explain, you defend, you justify, and yet they still see you through their own broken lens. What if I told you that the key to your freedom, the key to your success, and the key to your next level isn't in them understanding you, but in you understanding who you really are? Because here's the truth. When you stop trying to fix people's perceptions and you start focusing all that energy back into your growth, something incredible happens. The right people start showing up. The right opportunities align, and suddenly life shifts in your favor. Today, I'm going to share with you the 10 most powerful principles that will not only transform the way you see yourself, but transform the way you move through the world. And I promise you this, if you stay with me until the end, you'll never again waste your life trying to convince the wrong people. Instead, you'll be unstoppable in attracting the right ones. So let's dive in. Your peace is more valuable than their approval is not just a phrase, it's a way of life. A standard you must set if you're going to truly rise above the noise of the world. Think about it. How many times in your life have you traded your peace of mind just to win someone's approval? You bit your tongue, you betrayed your truth, you tolerated what you knew you should have walked away from because deep down you wanted to be liked, accepted, validated, and the cost of that, you lost yourself in the process. The truth is, approval is one of the most fragile currencies you can ever chase. People change their minds, their moods shift. One day they're clapping for you, the next day they're criticizing you. One moment they love you, the next they disappear. If your life is anchored on their approval, you will always be tossed around like a ship in a storm. But if you anchor your life on your peace, on your clarity, on your alignment, on your vision, nothing can shake you. Peace is the highest form of wealth. When you wake up in the morning and your heart is calm, your mind is clear, and your energy is intact, that's worth more than any compliment, any applause, any validation someone else could hand you. Approval feels good for a moment, but peace sustains you for a lifetime. And the dangerous part about living for approval is that it never ends. You get it once, you want it again. You get it from one person, you want it from another. It's like drinking salt water. It feels like it's quenching your thirst, but the more you drink, the more dehydrated you become. Approval addiction will drain you, while peace will fuel you. So you've got to decide, do you want to be liked or do you want to be free? Do you want to fit into everyone else's expectations or do you want to step fully into who you were created to be? The people who change the world, the people who rise to greatness, the people who truly create lasting impact, they're not the ones who bent their lives to fit someone else's comfort. They're the ones who trained themselves to protect their peace above all else. They understood that the cost of peace is far less than the cost of chasing approval. Here's what happens when you prioritize peace. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop overthinking. You stop begging people to see your worth. You start trusting yourself. You start valuing your time. You start choosing environments and relationships that match your vision. And most importantly, you begin to attract the right people. The ones who don't require you to shrink, to hide, or to compromise. Approval will come and go, but when you live in peace, you carry stability inside you. Nobody can take that away. Now let's shift. Unbothered doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding. So many people confuse being unbothered with being cold, detached, heartless. That's not it at all. Being unbothered doesn't mean you don't love. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It doesn't mean you stop being human. It means you stop bleeding out your energy into places that don't deserve it. It means you stop allowing other people's words, actions, and choices to cut you open and drain you of your strength. Think about how much energy you've lost in the past because you cared too much about things that didn't actually matter. Someone unfollowed you, and you carried it like a wound. Someone gave you a sideways comment, and you thought about it for days. Someone left your life, and you replayed every memory until you felt empty. That's bleeding. That's you pouring out your power into situations that don't deserve another ounce of your attention. Being unbothered means you decide that your emotional blood, your life force, is too precious to be spilled over people who've already shown you where they stand. Here's the difference. Caring is strength. Bleeding is weakness. Caring says, I love, I give, I show up, but I don't lose myself in the process. Bleeding says, I'll keep pouring out until there's nothing left of me. And most people don't even realize they're bleeding until they're exhausted, bitter, resentful. They've given so much attention to people who never cared in the first place. That's why unbothered becomes a necessity. It's not about not caring, it's about caring wisely, selectively, intentionally. To be unbothered, you must train yourself to rise above triggers. Someone says something negative, fine, that's their energy, not yours. Someone tries to pull you into drama, you let them keep it, because drama is a tax you don't pay anymore. Someone leaves, you don't chase, because if they can walk away, they weren't built to stay. Being unbothered is emotional discipline. It's you saying, I will not allow the outside world to dictate my inner state. That's real power. Unbothered people are not numb, they're focused. They care deeply, but they care where it matters. They don't waste their energy bleeding for ghosts. They don't waste their nights replaying conversations. They don't waste their future obsessing over the past. They keep moving, they keep building, they keep choosing themselves. And because they protect their energy, they always have more to give to their vision, to their loved ones, to their purpose. You have to recognize that life will always present you with opportunities to bleed. Someone will betray you, someone will criticize you, someone will misunderstand you, but you get to choose whether those things cut you open or bounce off your armor. Being unbothered is about building that armor not by hardening your heart, but by strengthening your focus. When you know where you're going, when you know who you are, when you know what matters, you stop leaking energy on what doesn't. So the challenge is this: stop bleeding for what's beneath you. Stop bleeding for people who wouldn't bleed for you. Stop bleeding for situations that don't deserve another drop of your attention. Care where it matters, love fully where it's aligned. Show up wholeheartedly where it matches your vision. Everywhere else, stay unbothered. Some people are chapters, not the whole book, and that realization alone can set you free if you let it. The problem is, most of us don't. We expect every person we meet, every friend we grow close to, every relationship we invest in, to last forever. We attach permanence to people who were only meant to play a temporary role in our lives. And when they leave, when the story shifts, when the chapter closes, we act like the book is over, but it isn't. The book is still being written. The story is still unfolding. And those people, as important as they seemed in the moment, were never the ending. They were simply a part of the process. Think about your favorite book, your favorite story. Every chapter has its own characters, its own scenes, its own conflicts. But you don't cling to one chapter forever. You move through it because you know there's more ahead. In life, some people show up to teach you something, to reveal something in you, to prepare you for something bigger. Their role is significant, but not permanent. They may bring love, they may bring pain, they may bring both, but they're there for a season. And once their role is fulfilled, the chapter closes. The tragedy is not that they left. The tragedy is when you refuse to turn the page. Every time you hold on to someone who was only meant to be a chapter, you trap yourself in a story that has already ended. You reread the same lines, relive the same moments, and wonder why your life feels stuck. It's because you're gripping the pages so tightly that you can't flip forward. In the future, the growth, the breakthroughs you've been asking for, they're waiting for you in the next chapter, not in the one you keep replaying. You must understand that letting go doesn't erase what was. That chapter is still part of your story and always will be. It shaped you, it taught you, it grew you, but it's not the whole book. Some of you are still defining your entire identity based on a relationship that ended years ago, a betrayal that happened a decade ago, a friendship that dissolved, a season that expired, and as long as you do that, you shrink your entire story to a single chapter. The people who truly live free, who keep growing, who keep expanding, are the ones who accept this truth. Not everyone is meant to stay for the whole ride. And that's not failure, that's life, that's the design. Think about it, teachers don't stay with you forever. They enter, they teach, they exit. The same is true of many relationships. They arrive, they play their role, and when the time is done, they exit. You don't curse the teacher for leaving the classroom once the lesson is over. You thank them and you move forward. You carry the lesson, not the loss. The moment you stop demanding permanence from temporary people, you free yourself. You stop feeling betrayed every time someone leaves. You stop feeling abandoned every time someone doesn't stay. You begin to see people as they are, not as you wish they would be. And that perspective is powerful because it keeps you from being bitter. You stop labeling people as villains simply because their role in your story came to an end. They weren't villains, they were chapters, and those chapters prepared you for the masterpiece you're still writing. Now understand this. Carrying dead weight keeps you from your next level. Nothing will slow you down more than dragging what's no longer alive into your future. And yet that's exactly what most people do. They carry relationships that are long over. They carry resentment from old betrayals. They carry identities that no longer fit, and then they wonder why they feel so heavy, so drained, so unmotivated. It's because they're not walking into their future, they're dragging their past. Picture this. You're climbing a mountain, and on your back is a bag filled with rocks. Each rock represents someone you won't let go of, something you refuse to release, a story you refuse to move past. Every step you take is harder, not because the climb is impossible, but because you're carrying too much unnecessary weight. And here's the thing, the mountain doesn't care. The climb won't flatten itself just because you refuse to drop the bag. You either let go of the rocks or you exhaust yourself and give up before you reach the peak. That's what happens when you carry dead weight. You kill your own progress. Dead weight can be people who don't believe in you, who drain you, who criticize everything you do. Dead weight can be the old version of yourself that you keep trying to revive instead of stepping into who you're becoming. Dead weight can be the resentment you nurse, the bitterness you hold, the regrets you replay. Whatever it looks like, the result is the same. It slows you down. It keeps you stuck at the level you've already outgrown. You've got to ask yourself right now, what am I still carrying that has already expired? Who am I still dragging with me that doesn't belong in my future? What stories am I still telling myself that are no longer true? Because every step you take toward your future while clinging to dead weight is a contradiction. You can't build a new life while clinging to old baggage. You can't soar while clutching anchors. You can't rise while refusing to release. And here's the truth most people don't want to face. Sometimes you're not tired because your dream is too big. You're tired because your load is too heavy. You're not broken. You're just overloaded. You're not unworthy. You're just carrying people and pain that were never meant to go where you're headed. The heaviness isn't a sign that you can't. It's a sign that you must let go. When you release dead weight, everything changes. Suddenly, you move faster, lighter, freer. Your energy returns. Your clarity sharpens. Your motivation reignites. The path ahead doesn't feel impossible anymore. And the opportunities, the breakthroughs, the people aligned with your future, they start to appear not because they weren't there before, but because now you have the space to see them, the energy to pursue them, the strength to receive them. You've got to stop romanticizing what's already over. Stop glorifying people who've already left. Stop idolizing seasons that have already ended. Respect the chapter, learn the lesson, and then release it. Because until you do, you'll keep dragging dead weight, and dead weight always delays destiny. Focus on your potential, not their opinion. Because if you build your life on the shifting sand of what other people think, you will never know what you are truly capable of. Most people spend their lives managing impressions instead of mastering their potential. They shape their decisions around how it will look, what people will say, whether others will approve, and in doing so, they sabotage the very power that was placed inside of them. Your potential is limitless, but opinions are cheap, and the tragedy is that most people surrender their future to the noise of those opinions. Think about it. How many dreams have died? Not because they were impossible, but because someone's words killed them before they had a chance to breathe. How many ideas were abandoned? Not because they lacked merit, but because someone laughed, doubted, or criticized. If you let opinions control you, you'll always live smaller than you were meant to live. Potential is what you can do if you dare. It's the energy, the talent, the ability, the hunger that sits inside of you waiting to be unlocked. It is untapped capacity. It is future greatness. It is a fire waiting for fuel, but potential requires focus. If your focus is scattered on the endless stream of other people's judgments, you'll never cultivate what's inside you. Opinions are distraction. They shift constantly. They come from people who don't live your life, who don't walk your path, who don't pay your price, and yet you give them power over your choices. Why? Because deep down, approval feels safer than growth, but safety is a prison when it costs you your destiny. The people who rise are not the ones who silence the critics, but the ones who silence the critic inside themselves that keeps replaying the external noise. They redirect their attention back to their vision, their goal, their potential. They ask, not what will they think of me, but what am I capable of if I give my all? That shift changes everything. When you focus on potential, you move in alignment with possibility instead of fear. You measure yourself against who you could become, not against the expectations of people who may never understand you. You set goals that scare you, because you know that's where your growth is. You push through obstacles because you know your capacity is bigger than the resistance. Opinions may echo in the background, but they no longer dictate your choices. Here's the raw truth. Most people who offer opinions are not even living their own potential. They're not pushing their limits. They're not risking rejection, failing forward, or stretching beyond comfort. And yet, you let their voices hold you back? That's backwards. Never take criticism from someone who isn't building what you're building. Never downgrade your vision to match someone else's comfort zone. Your potential is sacred, and it requires you to protect it like a treasure. You've got to choose every single day to drown out the noise and ask yourself, am I moving closer to the person I'm capable of becoming? That's the only measure that matters. Now hear this. Release the need to be validated by others. Because as long as you crave validation, you will always be a prisoner. Validation feels good, but it's a drug. It hooks you, it conditions you, it makes you dependent on something outside yourself to feel worthy, and that dependence will destroy your freedom. Validation tells you, I matter because they said I matter. True power tells you, I matter because I am alive, because I have purpose, because I am here. When you build your identity on external validation, you are like a house built on sand. Every time the tide shifts, you collapse. One negative comment, one disapproving glance, one moment of being overlooked, and suddenly you feel small, invisible, unworthy. That is no way to live. Validation is a trap because it's never enough. You can get 1,000 likes, and the next day you crave more. You can be praised for one accomplishment, and suddenly you feel pressure to perform again, afraid that if you don't, you'll lose the applause. You are always chasing, always grasping, always seeking. But when you release that need, you reclaim your power. You no longer move to be seen, you move to be true. You no longer chase recognition, you chase alignment. You no longer shrink or stretch to fit someone else's box. You expand into your full self without apology. Releasing the need for validation doesn't mean you ignore feedback or reject love. It means you stop letting it define you. You stop needing it to prove your worth. You can receive it with gratitude, but you don't depend on it. You no longer crave it like oxygen because you've learned how to breathe on your own. This is freedom, living from the inside out, not the outside in. Living anchored in your vision, your values, your identity, not swayed by the highs and lows of public opinion. The irony is that once you stop needing validation, you often attract more respect because people can sense authenticity. They can feel when someone is grounded, unshaken, unbothered by whether they're approved or not, and that energy is magnetic. But the real gift isn't the respect, it's the peace. The peace of knowing that you no longer have to audition for acceptance, that you no longer have to perform for love, that you no longer have to be anyone but yourself. When you're free from validation, you can take risks without fear of looking foolish. You can create without fear of being judged. You can speak without fear of being silenced. You can walk away from people, places, and situations that don't serve you because you're no longer desperate to be chosen by them. You've already chosen yourself, and that decision, that inner validation, becomes the foundation of everything you build. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Energy is the currency of your existence. Every action you take, every thought you dwell on, every person you allow into your space either deposits energy into you or withdraws it. And most people live as if their energy is limitless, as if they can give it away freely without cost, as if they can spend it on negativity, gossip, conflict, and chaos and still have enough left to pursue their dreams. But energy is finite. When it's drained, your body breaks down, your mind loses clarity, your spirit grows weak, and your vision becomes blurry. Protecting your energy isn't optional, it's survival. It's the foundation foundation of building a powerful life. Think about how much of your life force has been stolen, not because of what you were doing, but because of who you allowed around you. There are people who leave you drained every time you talk to them. They complain, they criticize, they dump their problems without ever lifting themselves up, and you walk away feeling heavy. There are environments that suffocate you with stress and noise, places where your creativity, your joy, your peace cannot breathe. There are habits scrolling endlessly, engaging in pointless arguments, procrastinating that silently rob you of energy, and yet you allow it because you don't treat your energy like the treasure it is. You wouldn't let someone rob your bank account and smile while they do it, but every day you let people and habits rob your energy without resistance. Protecting your energy means boundaries. It means saying no without guilt. It means removing yourself from toxic environments, limiting exposure to people who drain you, and choosing to surround yourself with those who pour into you instead of pulling from you. It means creating rituals that recharge you: exercise, meditation, prayer, reflection, time in nature, time in silence. It means becoming ruthless about where your focus goes, because focus directs energy. Where attention goes, energy flows, and if your attention is on drama, distraction, or negativity, your energy will follow. The reason this matters so much is because energy is fuel for your potential. Without energy, you cannot sustain the grind, you cannot endure the setbacks, you cannot push through the resistance that comes with pursuing your highest self. You might have the vision, you might have the skill, but if you don't have the energy, you won't execute. And that's why protecting it is not just a suggestion, it's the very thing that keeps your dreams alive. Your energy determines how you show up, how you think, how you create, how you connect, how you lead. Protect it like your life depends on it, because your future absolutely does. Your destiny is greater than their rejection, and until you believe that, you will keep shrinking every time someone turns their back on you. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences for the human heart. It triggers the fear of being unwanted, unworthy, unseen. But rejection is not the end of your story. It is often the redirection to your destiny. The problem is that we take rejection personally. Someone says no, someone walks away, someone overlooks us, and we internalize it as proof that we are not enough. We wear it like a label: unwanted, unloved, undeserving. But what if rejection isn't proof of your lack, but proof of your path? What if rejection is not a wall, but a compass pointing you towards something greater? Every person who has accomplished something extraordinary has faced rejection. Great leaders were doubted. Great visionaries were ridiculed. Great creators were dismissed. If they had stopped at rejection, the world would never have known their names. The truth is, rejection is unavoidable if you're truly living boldly. If nobody is rejecting you, you're probably not aiming high enough. You're probably playing safe, staying small, hiding where it's comfortable. Destiny requires you to risk rejection, because destiny requires you to step into places where not everyone will see your value immediately. But here's the key: your destiny doesn't shrink because someone rejects you. Their no doesn't diminish your worth. Their departure doesn't cancel your future. Their inability to recognize your greatness doesn't erase it. You were created with a purpose that existed before anyone had an opinion of you, and that purpose will outlast every rejection. The pain of rejection is temporary, but the power of destiny is permanent. If you can hold on through the sting of rejection, if you can refuse to let it define you, if you can use it as fuel instead of a cage, you will realize that their rejection was a gift. Rejection teaches you resilience. It forces you to build strength, to clarify your vision, to sharpen your hunger. It exposes who is truly aligned with you and who is not. It removes what doesn't belong so that what does belong can enter. And often the places and people that reject you are not capable of containing your destiny anyway. Their rejection is proof that you were never meant to fit there in the first place. You were meant for something greater. And sometimes the only way to discover that is through the door that closed. You've got to stop begging for acceptance from places that have already said no. You've got to stop defining your worth based on who chooses you and who doesn't. You've got to start seeing rejection not as evidence that you're unworthy, but as evidence that you are being prepared for something higher. Your destiny is greater than their rejection, because destiny is written in a language beyond human approval. It is not contingent on who believes in you. It is contingent on what you choose to believe about yourself. The most powerful shift happens when you no longer see rejection as a wound, but as direction. Instead of asking, "Why didn't they want me?" you ask, "Where is this redirecting me?" Instead of collapsing under the pain, you rise with new clarity. You stop trying to prove yourself to people who can't see you. and you start pouring yourself into the future that's waiting. You stop grieving closed doors and start walking toward open ones. You stop begging for validation and start building your vision. Rejection loses its power when you realize your destiny was never in their hands to begin with. They can reject you, but they cannot rewrite what you were created to do. They can leave you, but they cannot stop what is coming for you. They can overlook you, but they cannot erase the light that burns inside you. Your destiny is greater than their rejection, and when you finally embody that truth, no rejection can break you. It can only build you. Stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Because the truth is, no matter how carefully you speak, no matter how many times you repeat yourself, no matter how pure your intentions are, there will always be people who twist your words, doubt your motives, and interpret your actions in the worst possible way. And here's what you must accept. Their misunderstanding is not a reflection of your clarity, it is a reflection of their lens. They see through the filter of their own insecurities, fears, and judgments. And no amount of explanation can shift a heart that is determined not to see you accurately. The danger is that many people waste years of their lives trying to convince those who are already committed to misjudging them. They argue, they justify, they explain, and at the end of it, they feel drained, misunderstood, and unseen. The cycle repeats, and instead of living their truth, they live in defense of it. When you constantly explain yourself, you give away your power. You hand over control of your identity to people who have already decided what story they want to tell about you. No explanation will change a mind that is committed to misunderstanding, because misunderstanding isn't about facts, it's about choice. Some people don't want clarity, they want conflict. They don't want truth, they want drama. They don't want to understand you, they want to reduce you, box you in, and strip you of your authenticity so they feel more comfortable. And if you keep engaging, if you keep explaining, you're playing their game instead of living your life. You must come to a place where your peace is more valuable than being understood. You must reach a point where you realize your mission cannot be delayed just so you can win the approval of people who will never clap for you anyway. Stop thinking you owe them explanations. You don't. You owe yourself authenticity. You owe your future focus. You owe your destiny commitment. Anyone who is truly meant to walk with you will see you without you having to beg them to. They will understand because their spirit aligns with yours. The rest will misunderstand, mislabel, misjudge, and you must let them. You cannot control their perspective, but you can control whether you waste your life trying to fix it. Walking in power means being misunderstood and moving anyway. It means being criticized and staying focused anyway. It means being smickers-freddented and still refusing to shrink. You don't win by convincing them, you win by continuing. You win by building, by rising, by succeeding so fully that no lie, no misjudgment, no misunderstanding can deny what you have become. And when you live this way, you free yourself from the endless cycle of trying to explain, and you reclaim your time, your energy, your voice for what truly matters. When you focus on you, the right people and opportunities will come because energy is magnetic. When you are constantly focused on others, chasing their approval, obsessing over their rejection, fighting their misunderstanding, you scatter your energy outward and weaken your attraction. But when you bring your focus back to yourself, when you pour into your growth, your healing, your goals, your discipline, you shift your frequency, you stop chasing and start attracting, you stop begging for doors to open and begin creating doors of your own, and in that process, the right opportunities and the right people begin to align with your journey. Most people think success comes from constantly reaching outward, networking endlessly, begging for chances, forcing relationships, but true alignment happens when you work inward first. The stronger you become, the clearer your vision, the more disciplined your habits, the more magnetic your presence. The right people don't show up because you beg them to. They show up because they recognize the energy you've cultivated. They feel the clarity, the strength, the authenticity, and they are drawn to it. The right opportunities don't come because you force them. They come because your preparation meets the moment. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean selfishness. It means alignment. It means refusing to abandon your goals to chase people. It means investing in your growth instead of spending all your energy trying to be accepted. It means using your mornings to strengthen your body, your mind, your spirit, instead of scrolling for validation. It means showing up every day in pursuit of your vision, regardless of who's watching, because your focus is not on performing for them, it's on becoming for you. When you focus on you, you become undeniable. The people who are truly meant to be in your life will see the light in you without you having to convince them. The opportunities that are truly aligned will fit into your journey without you having to beg. And the beauty of it is that the wrong people will fall away naturally because they cannot survive in the atmosphere of your growth. You don't even have to push them out. Your focus, your elevation, your transformation will make them irrelevant. But here's the challenge. Focusing on yourself requires discipline. It requires saying no to distractions, no to drama, no to people who pull you off course. It requires setting boundaries that may upset others, but protect your future. It requires waking up every day and asking, what can I do today that moves me closer to my highest self, instead of how can I make them like me? It's a shift in identity, a shift in priorities, a shift in how you show up for your own life. The truth is, most people don't focus on themselves because it's easier to be distracted by others. It's easier to gossip, to compare, to complain than it is to do the hard work of self-mastery. But the ones who rise, the ones who become magnetic, the ones who live fulfilled, they are the ones who make the decision to focus inward. And that decision creates a ripple effect. As you grow, you attract growth. As you discipline yourself, you attract disciplined opportunities. As you love yourself, you attract people who love you without conditions. So stop chasing, stop begging, stop over-explaining. Your future doesn't depend on their understanding, their validation, or their approval. Your future depends on your focus. Focus on you, build you, grow you, and everything aligned with your destiny will come. Not because you forced it, but because you became the person capable of receiving it. Think about what we just walked through together. We started with the realization that you don't need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. We moved into the truth that when you focus on yourself and your growth, your discipline, your vision, the right people and the right opportunities will come. We uncovered that your identity is shaped not by their opinion, but by your daily choices. We spoke about the power of discipline, of letting go of the past, of silencing the noise, and of embracing the discomfort that forges your strength. We went deeper into why you must stop playing small, stop chasing approval, and instead step boldly into your authentic power. Because at the end of the day, greatness isn't found in defending who you are, it's found in living who you are. Every one of these keynotes is a building block, and when you put them together, you create an unstoppable version of yourself. The version that doesn't beg to be understood, but demands to be respected by how you show up and how you live. This isn't just motivation, it's a roadmap, a call to action, a reminder that your life is too valuable, your mission too important, and your destiny too great to be wasted on explanations, excuses, or approvals. Now it's your turn. Take these principles and apply them today, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because the longer you wait, the more you give away your power. This is Tony Robbins Track, and if this message spoke to you, hit that subscribe button right now and join a community of people who refuse to live small. Drop a comment below and tell me which keynote hit you the hardest today. I want to hear your breakthrough. Remember this, your future doesn't depend on them understanding you. It depends on you stepping into your power. Let's go create the life you are meant to live.